Hello and welcome, dear viewers and fellow casuals. You're watching Primetime Casual and we're playing Elite Dangerous again. This is my third ever live stream, and I keep mentioning this because currently, well, the amount of live streams I did is still... You're still able to count them on the fingers of one hand, so yeah, I think it bears mention. As you can see, my ASP has taken quite a beating, and it will take more of it, I guess, because if you just look where we're going, you can see already this nice cyan bluish, light bluish line here. The first jump already is a neutron boost. Right, and the target for today is, of course, this, the Bubble Nebula. It's not very far, it's, I think, 1,200 light years, so it's about 20 jumps. I expect maybe 30-45 minutes, well, 45 minutes until I'm there, and then trying to get a good picture of it. Because, I mean, look at it, it is, for all intents and purposes, it's spherical. Spherical. Heart and Soul back there. Actually, Heart and Soul is definitely one of the nicer places to visit. If you want great screenshots, go to Heart and Soul. And back there, that's something that is still relevant, because we've had new attacks just today. 2 new stations under attack, and you can see they are getting closer. And I've heard reports of high predictions in the bubble, actually, Leo room space or whatever the guy is called. So yeah, and these stations, they are about, well, 200 light years from Sol, and that is not very much. That is 4 jumps if I'm lucky. So, on the subject of jumps, let's go. I'll adjust my keyboard so I can hit the jump keys blind again. Neutron star. What better way to start the day than sheer blind terror and damage to your frameshift drive. Also, the eye tracker is not quite centered. It's annoying me right now. Okay, I did stop. Yes, way too enthusiastic. Yeah. Objects, very well. Safety limits. Exit the cone. That was too soon. Maybe I should have done a couple of jumps before this. I really should. I'm a bit unfocused right now. Okay, let's see what we've got in the system. Nothing much, really. I mean, it's a neutron star. You can see the Bubble Nebula there in the distance. This is where we are headed. Also, neutron stars. I saw a picture on Twitter today of a system with a white dwarf and a neutron star in relatively close proximity. And I didn't notice it before, but the cones... frame shift sound is just too loud. I'm sorry. I already turned down the game volume, so I don't know how it is for you. But for me, it is very loud. Okay, I saw a Twitter picture today of a white dwarf and a neutron star in close proximity. And the cones really look different. They really look different. I will turn down the game sound. I'm sorry. I didn't check this before. Yeah, it's just 2 notches. Ship voice, 2 notches. Music is muted anyway. Okay. Did I not plot the line? Yeah, the cones really do look different, and it's very nice to see this detail. The neutron star is much more, well, wavy for lack of a better expression, and the white dwarf has more of a solid ray or beam to it. So it's quite interesting, this attention to detail. Let's see. So unlike the last nebula I went to, this one is more or less on the galactic plane, the Bubble Nebula, which means we probably have a couple of systems in proximity where we can get a nice look at it. This is the only nebula I know of that has this, well, ball shape, round shape. All other nebulae are like clouds, something like that. This one is round. Hello. Oh, I did punch it. There. There we go. Speaking of Twitter, Distant Worlds 2. I mean, we are always coming back to Distant Worlds 2, but it is a marvelous undertaking. They're coming up on 1,900 signups. No, they have 1,900 signups already. They're coming up on 2,000. I haven't checked, but this afternoon they were at 1,900 something. So it will be interesting to see how far it actually goes, the roster sign-up. And then of course how many will actually participate, how many will keep up with the 16-week schedule, how many will fall behind, how many will have to abort. But my guess is that we'll still be, well, over 1,000 commanders reaching Beagle Point. This is my estimate. And that is just the beauty of Elite Dangerous. The downside of this is, the downside of all this interest in Distant Worlds 2 is, will the netcode of Elite hold up? Will the instancing work? Because that's still, after all these years, still an issue. The netcode of Elite Dangerous isn't the best. I'm sorry to say. What is this world? The netcode isn't the best. You can see it every time some streamers do an event, broadcast especially. Always takes ages to get everyone in the same instance. Even if they're in the same instance, supposed to be the same instance, not everybody can see everybody else. So, yeah. Frontier basically has 3/4 of a year to get the netcode fixed and optimized, and that'll be hopefully one of the big updates for Q4 of Beyond. After all this time, they know in advance just how many commanders will take part.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
You know what? Let's just 20 attempts to go. Let's scan a couple of these planets. Just one or two. I know you should really scan all of them, but I just can't always bring myself to it, you know. I usually scan like the inner 500, 600 light seconds of the system. and then it just gets a bit tedious. It's not that I don't want to scan beige planets. I mean, I don't, but you know, I would. It's just travel time takes so long, and I'm lazy. Oh, to be more precise, I don't have that much game time, so I'll limit myself to the planets I can easily reach. Since you're on the topic of Beyond anyway, Frontier hasn't announced any release yet, any release dates yet for the first update of Beyond, for the first chapter, but I don't think it'll be far off in the future. My guess is at the end of February, like this month, like next week, 2 weeks maybe. So they can use the rest of Q1, i.e. March, for fixes, you know, for hot fixes and for additional patches they need, and then in Q2 can focus on the next chapter, of Beyond, which was slated for Q2. Oh, nice. And I'm quite looking forward not only to Chapter 1, no, this one, not only to Chapter 1, but also the following chapters, because I believe Chieftain and Type 10 Defender are only the beginning of the new ships we'll get. They promise more. We already know of the crate, of course, but there will be others. I think there will be others. We know of the crate, a fighter, and I think it's estimated to be about the size of an asp, which is nice, you know. We've seen 900 light seconds. That's already too far, in my opinion. Well, move on with the next system. We've already seen concept art of the Panther Clipper, of course, which will be a large, not to say a huge, trading ship. And it'll be interesting to see if they actually can pull that one off, because based on the concept art, I don't think it'll fit through the mail slot. So yeah, they'll have to solve that problem. Because then we not only have ships that can't dock at outposts, but also ships that can't dock at Coriolis and the other big stations, because of the mail slot. And then, in the beginning, I had talks of the ominous Hunter ship. I don't know what's actually come out. That is this, is the Hunter basically the concept name for the crate or for the Imperial fighter or something like that? Or will it be something entirely different? I mean, you can't just have 3 or 4 ships in a year. I think there will be more. And with the Thargoids coming, and the AX weapons, and the Aegis initiative, and all that. Well, we have anti-Thargoid weapons. We already have more or less anti-Thargoid ship. But how about incorporating this Thargoid technology not only into weapons, experimental weapons like we'll see in the
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Chapter 1 update, but entire ships, entire human ships based on Thargoid technology that may be immune to some of the Thargoid effects, the EMP wave and that, or maybe can't be hyperdicted, or maybe can actually evade hyperdictions I haven't been hyperdicted yet, but I think you can't escape hyperdictions, you know? Not the way you can evade interdictions in Supercruise. You get pulled out of hypercruise and that's it. It would be nice to have some way of actually countering that. Gas giant with ammonia. Oh, ammonia what? There's clearly space for a third line of text there, if you really want to. Gas giant with ammonia. Base life forms. I know that it says that, but it doesn't. It kind of doesn't. Because it could be anything. Ammonia. Loop of shame. Ammonia loop of shame, for example. Ammonia gas giant. Just want to have a look at it because it looked kind of strange from the colors of the system map. So yeah, Thargoid chips, or at least main modules like the frame shift drive that can jump farther. You have to balance that, of course, or thrusters, or really anything. Now this is one strange-looking gas giant, I have to admit. Lots of storms, if you look at it. This greenish, greyish coloring itself, I don't see that very often. Fascinating white, bright ice rings, by the way. And then we have lots and lots of storms. That is interesting. That really is interesting. Different colored storms. You see these bright yellow ones, you see the dark ones, and you see these kind of bright ones, you know, looking like they should be. Don't know. Don't know the word for it. Fluorescent, luminescent. You know, making light emitting. Okay, let's get out of the gravity well for this one. Sorry if my eye track is a bit jumpy today, but I'm a bit more tired than I thought. That always confuses the eye tracker a bit. On the subject of the eye tracker, you know, it's because I'm talking about it right now. Basically, if you don't have the money or the space for multiple monitors, or want to use your second monitor for something else. I mean, I have ED Discovery on it, and currently, obviously, OBS to monitor the stream. So, you don't have multiple monitors, you don't want to use multiple monitors for Elite Dangerous, but you also don't have the money for VR, or don't have the system capable of VR. Or in my case, you know, money wouldn't be the issue. The system is definitely good enough for virtual reality, according to the Steam benchmark anyway. But in my computer room I don't have the space to put up, you know, the base station for the Vive and or this hub kind of thing, and the two base stations, and then all the cables and everything. So it's not really something I want to do right here. But you can always buy a cheap eye tracker. When I say cheap, I mean the Tobii Gaming eye tracker 4C, which I'm using, is still 140 euros plus shipping from, I think, Sweden or Denmark, something up in Scandinavia anyway. So it's not really cheap, but it's affordable. No, it costs way less than a virtual reality setup. Whoa, almost forgot to check the system. It's way more affordable than a virtual reality setup, and it takes up no space in comparison to multiple monitors. And you can still use multiple monitors. I have a second monitor going on, so yeah, it's just a small strip, really, a small bar with a couple of infrared cameras that you will glue and click to the bottom of your monitor, the main monitor, of course, and that's it. It even has all the computing in the eye tracker, so it doesn't use any CPU power. All it needs is a USB port. And even a USB 2.0 is enough, which is rare these days. And if you think of the Vive or the Oculus, okay, you need the graphics board and you need like 2 or 3 USB 3 ports for it to work properly. Huge difference. 15 jumps to go. We are making progress. So, yeah, eye tracker. It's marvelous. It works really well. I was very skeptical in the beginning, and this sounds a bit fanboyish, but it's not without flaws. But it works in a bright room. It works in a solid room. It works as it currently does in a rather dark room. Just a couple of indirect backlights are going on, and it works with glasses, and that is something which I was really skeptical, really anxious about. But glasses are no problem, and glasses can be a problem in virtual reality, because I've tried the HTC Vive on multiple occasions, and it was always uncomfortable with my glasses on. And without my glasses, of course, I had the same problem I have in real life without glasses, meaning I can't see shit. So yeah, if you want a bit of flexibility without spending too much money, get an eye tracker. Doesn't matter. It works with other games as well. Armor, for example, a couple of shooters, Ghost Recon, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's flexible. And this totally turned into a product advertisement. I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean to. I just really like it. I'm using it a lot. In fact, I can't play Elite Dangerous without it anymore. Now that really means something. What do we have here? Oh, it's close by. Let's go check it out. However, if you're... well, it can decenter slightly, and occasionally it hangs, and the USB cord or ports aren't the best. You have to fiddle with it quite often, and if the cable isn't in the exact right position, then it loses the connection frequently. And if I plug in the eye tracker after I started Elite, I have to basically restart the software. So yeah, there are problems, there are problems. And if I had the choice, I would rather do virtual reality, but as I explained, I can't right now. Well, in that case, eye tracker is very good fun. This is a half molten planet. You always see fully molten planets, where basically, speed up a bit, basically the whole planet looks like this bit over there, molten, glazed, yeah. But this one is kind of half molten. Very peculiar. Let's check this out. Radius, surface temperature 1609 Kelvin. Iron magma, silicon vapor, silicates, metal, orbital period, eccentricity, inclination 0. What? Orbital eccentricity 0 and orbital inclination of 0. That's not healthy. And it's tidally locked. Not a place I would want to live, to be honest. Not a place I would want to live. Or touch down, or make vacations or anything. Oh, and by the way, if you're reading temperatures, scientific temperatures, it's just something Kelvin, not something degrees Kelvin. Don't say that. You'll out yourself as a muggle. It's Kelvin, just Kelvin. No, like Kelvin and Hobbes. Or Calvin Klein. Or Kelvin... whatever. And then now it's spelled differently. Just saying. Sure. How far to go, by the way? 12 gems. It's really bright, that bubble job, yeah? That's rare to see because usually you get one bright side of a nebula or a portion that is lit up by radiation. Mostly nebulae are kind of dark. See, that is a normal color. Lots of storms, but normal coloring. And that last gas giant was way more green. A red dwarf. Ooh, red dwarf. Red dwarf turned 30, I guess. Science fiction series, UK. I have to admit, I've only ever seen, you know, short clips from it. I've never seen an entire episode or even an entire season or even a single episode of it. Mostly because it's very hard to come by here in Germany. But I guess if you like British humor and science fiction, well, have a look, have a go. It sure sounds like fun. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of British humor, you know, Monty Python, Blackadder, Mr. Bean in general and stuff like that, so I would like to watch a couple of episodes of Red Dwarf just to make my own opinion. And yeah, this series turned, I think, 30 this year. That is one bright nebula. Just look at it. Just get away from my ship for a bit. Just look at it. Bright stars too, but well, that nebula is one bright something. Does anybody else actually do that? Turn the ship so the galactic plane forms sort of an horizon? I mean, orientation, rotational orientation on the longitudinal axis doesn't matter the slightest in space, but somehow the human mind needs that. It just needs that. That's because just look over there. If I'm heading towards this planet, this star, for example, I could go like this. Yeah, I could go like this. I could go pretty much any way I wanted. But somehow I always turn like this. This is nice, you know? This feels natural and ordered. I have no clue. Just do that. I just do it. And nothing annoys me more than when the elliptic of a system, you know, the path of the planets, the plane they're on, engaged, and the plane they're on doesn't line up with the galactic plane. It annoys the hell out of me. Ringed planets, that's okay. If the rings have a tilt to it, that's okay. But if the entire system is tilted against the galactic plane, it drives me nuts. It really drives me nuts. You can't do anything about it. No matter how you turn. Either the system... Do I have the system right? Either the system is out of plane or the... Well, the galaxy is out of plane. My wife says I'm sometimes a kind of, if you know the series Monk. In Germany, at least, I don't know if it's like that anywhere else. In Germany, at least, to be a monk or kind of a monk, it's like saying you have a bit of OCD, you know? You're kind of strange in some ways with the things you do just because you can't keep not doing them. It also helps that monk isn't, like in English, monk isn't also the word for a religious person. Member of a religious order. So we can use the name monk for that. And this is a high metal content or a water world. I still have problems keeping the two apart. After all this time. 3 months out in the black and I still can't tell if water world or from a high metal content world. And like 60%. This is a water world. Let's go. This is number 51, if I'm correct. Waterworld number 51. Is it 50? I think. I had a very round number last time I checked. That was 2 days ago and I didn't fly yesterday, so this is something 1. I'll say 51. In comparison, I only had 5 Earth-like worlds and 8 ammonia worlds. Really strange. Yeah, this is one of the boring kind of water worlds, you know. It doesn't even have clouds. It's just a shiny blue marble. Even Subnautica has more islands, more land. I would love to play Subnautica, by the way, but it doesn't lend itself so much to screenshots, and I do like getting screenshots, you know. It gives me something to do when I would be bored with the game otherwise. It also helps to tweet. It really does. I've done a rough calculation yesterday, I think. Day before. I've only done about 500 light years a day during this trip. But with the exception of, I think, Fridays and Saturdays where I don't play, Zerand, and, you know, small bouts of sickness, flu, and a visit to the parents, and all that, I've actually played every day. I'm now on day 103 and I played, I'd say 90 of them. Maybe 85. And that is good. During my last trips to Itacarinae or to the Hawkins Gap, I didn't manage that. No, the ship was out in the black. 20,000 light years away from Sol, 15,000 light years away from Sol. And I was just, you know, bored. There was nothing to do.
Ready to engage.
Except for throttling up to engage. There's nothing to do, so I didn't play, and the time stretched on and went on and on. And eventually I just raced back to the bottle. And tweeting about your expedition, about your trip, making screenshots is a great way to pass the time and to actually have a motivation to go fly every day to make some progress. I mean, it doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter how much progress you make on your trips every day. I had, you know, looking at the weekly statistics on ED Discovery, I had weeks where I did like 2,000 light years, 3,000 light years. And then suddenly I had weeks where I did 5,000 light years. So it's the average that counts. On average 500 light years a day in, well, 30 or 40 minutes. So yeah, I need to boost it up a bit for this Worlds 2, because I think they plan it around 1,000 light years per day. But this should be okay. I mean, you can always slow down on some days and try to catch up on others. A couple of days for screenshots and mucking around with the SRVs, and then buckyball it. Wow. Well, this nebula is getting large, by the way. 4 jumps to go. And it's still bright. It looks kind of like a jellyfish. You know what I mean? It looks kind of like a jellyfish. Seen from the top, maybe. With the swirly inner bits and sort of a bright, more solid border around it. I think it looks like a jellyfish. I think there actually is a jellyfish nebula somewhere. I have to research that. I have to research that. I have to do lots of research anyway. For all the projects I have. I'm sorry, I'll continue talking in a minute. Just had to get a small sip of water. I'll mute myself for a second.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
And I'm back. Yeah, I had a bit of... What was that? Something just dinged and I'm not happy about it. Okay, everything's still working, I guess. OBS is saying, tells me I'm still talking. iTracker is working, okay. I had a bit of technical problems earlier, which is why I didn't start the stream quite as early as I wanted. For some reason, you know, the downstream and upstream looked fine. OBS said everything's green, stream's healthy. But opening a browser window, a browser tab was near impossible, because no matter what, the site didn't load. Anyway, lots of research. Yes, projects lined up for when I get to back into the bubble. Hopefully in one piece, but we'll come to that later. When I get back into the bubble, I have a couple of projects lined up. For example, scooping fuel before running out of fuel. That is one option. One of that is, you know, looking for nebulae that I can reach and get back from easily before Distant Worlds 2, so I can test out maybe a new ship, maybe a couple of different modules, different setups, something like that. Basically do another test from Distant Worlds 2. So, Jellyfish Nebula, noted. I'll have a look into it. Another one is the Planet of Death. And I'll go there basically with the cheapest ship I can make the journey in, because what the planet of death is. And if you want to see videos of it, screenshots and detailed talk, just Google for Elite Dangerous Planet of Death. You'll get a forum thread which basically tells you this. There is a planet, a landable planet, that every, I think, 80 minutes passes through not only the exclusion zone, but passes through the actual cone of a white dwarf or neutron star. But it doesn't matter, really. It passes through the cone of one of these. And you get basically a window for landing and starting again, for landing and taking off, of about 10 minutes every hour or so. And well, yeah, it's a great challenge, I guess. And I want to take it. And this is blue. And I'm not even inside the nebula, I think. Just take a screenshot here. There we go. And maybe there. Okay, can you tell me? I got this switched off. I got the UI hidden. Why sometimes this doesn't go away? Anyway, bubble sector. Give me a couple of screenshots. Yeah, Planet of Death, and it's very interesting because you can actually, if you manage landing, that's the easy part, I think. You can drive around in the SRV and watch the sunrise of a neutron star or a white dwarf. I'm not sure, I would have looked again, I think it's a white dwarf actually. You can watch the sunrise of a white dwarf. And then from the same SOV vantage point, even if you get the timing right, because you have to wait like an hour before you actually get out of the cone or the boost, the cone or the exclusion zone, and you get the opening window again. And then you can watch the AI try to land your ship. Basically next to a white dwarf. So yeah, take a cheap ship. You know, one that you can afford to lose, because the chance that the AI will wreck your ship is very high. And even if it does need to take off again, what? Come on, that's not Waterworld. Basically, a ship will 9 times out of 10, I think your ship will be destroyed. Either during landing, you take damage from the exclusion zone because you land too slowly, or during approach by the AI, or during takeoff. But that's the fun of it. That's the challenge. Get there, get some screenshots with your SRV, and then take off again in one piece. So I want to do that. I don't know, maybe the Diamondback Explorer, because it's a cheap one. Or it's something completely different. An Adder, if I can get it there. Adder would be nice. I always wanted an A-rated Adder. Ever since I found out that completely A-rating an Adder costs about as much as the frameship drive on my ASP. So there. Also, I want a screenshot. I just decided I want a screenshot. So this is nice. There you go. And I'm afraid I'll have to turn around again for another screenshot. Like an A-rated Adder on the Planet of Death. Sounds like a plan, actually. Sounds like a plan. I have to write that down. Ooh, this is nice. Stop the ship. I want a screenshot. Screenshot. What's that inky blob? Go away. Yeah, maybe with my ship. No, thank you. But without that blob. Oh, difficult. Slow down. Yeah, hide the ugly blob. Okay, that's one solution. No, no, yes. Ah. Okay, let's do it like this. No fucking blob. Okay. I rated Ada. Right. So that's the plan. Ah. Okay, I wanna. So this was already inside the nebula. And now here, let's go. I find that the best screenshots you can take from Titori. No. I'm looking for something a bit darker. Titori again. Class M class Titori. MK M Titori. So let's go there. Also, what is this? B class, no. Go away.
Frameshift drive.
Let's go there and take another picture of the bubble nebula from outside. Because the Adder was one of my first real ships, and I want to fly it a bit more. But aerating it seems like a plan. I didn't know for what I'll actually spec it, but aerating it. One aerated ship. For the price of an Explorer's frameshift drive. Sounds like a plan. And then take it to the limit of death. Yeah. Now the trick for getting good screenshots is get a system. This is actually too bright. Well, this star is actually too bright. Actually, a brown dwarf would be best, and then just fly away from the star for a bit. Full throttle would be, preferable. And then take screenshots, because now it's still too close. The sun is still very bright. That is why you actually need a brown dwarf. But you get less in-system ambient lighting from that. So the colors of the nebulae come out far better. Same applies to if you want to take screenshots within the nebula, of course. And this will probably annoy the hell out of you. If I get it. No. No. Ah! What did I do? I'm sorry. How very unprofessional of me. Well, there it is, flickering. This is capturing a high resolution screenshot. It only works in solo and private group, and that gives you a very high resolution screenshot. Yeah, let's see if I can find a brown dwarf inside the nebula. Probably not. M class. F, far too bright, far too bright. Titori. This is the problem with 3D objects on a map. Please don't right now, thank you. It's very hard to see which ones are actually inside. I think this one might be. M. F. Oh, this one is B, no? M5. Oh well, let's try this. Titori star. Just gonna I'll talk about another project still. Speaking of ships that are off the radar, at least for the pilots who have lots of money. What I'm gonna do when I get back to the bubble, I wanna have some fun, you know? Exploring is tedious work. So I wanna do it when I have some fun. I wanna do some canyon flying and stuff, some station racing, and usually you take a Viper for that, Viper Mark III, Eagle or Imperial Eagle rather. And I think, well, I don't like that. For one, I don't want to buy Imperial ships. And my Viper, it's a racing spec Viper, but it's so obvious, you know, it's so obvious. And what I'm gonna do when I get back to the bubble is build a racing ship out of a hauler. I've done the math, I've done some, played around a bit on Coriolis, and you can get a hauler actually up to boost speeds in excess of 620 meters per second. So it'll be a box out of hell. It'll do unboosted 400 and something and boosted way over 600 meters per second. And that is, I think, without taking into account engineering, or just very slight bit of engineering. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And if in addition to straight line speed it actually has some turning ability. And I know it's nothing compared to Imperial Eagles, at least modded ones, but I still think it'll be hilarious. Having a hauler go that fast. So yeah, here we are at the Bubble Nebula. It's just so pretty here right now, especially with the nebula emitting light, because you have this soft bluish tinted light everywhere in the system. Oh, very nice. Can't take my eyes off it, but I have to, I guess. I have to. Can't do that now. Yeah, so we are here in the Bubble Nebula, which is, almost sad to say, my final waypoint for this expedition. Next stop will be this one. Good old Sol. And it's what, 7,000 light years away, so well, 1 week if I hurry, and 2 if I keep up my 500 light years a day. And I will be streaming when I get, you know, close to the bubble again. Because I think it'd be interesting to get the end of the expedition on stream. And also because I might call in the Iridium Wing, which is an escort wing, a spin-off of the Fuel Reds, actually, that specializes in armed escorts for explorers returning back to Sol. And they did it for open play against PvPers and NPC interdictions, and they extended their services for protection against the Thargoids. And just look at it. I mean, I'm here currently, and my destination. Just look where the straight line goes. Yeah. You hopefully saw that too. Go back, Aldebaran. Go back. Just a bit. There we are. The line the Thargoids make, their beeline for the bubble, is very close to the direct line I'll have to take home. So, yeah. I might want some escorts. And looking at that, they're not making just a beeline for the bubble, they're making a beeline for Sol. But someone else should find that out, you know, their plan. This was my pleasure being your pilot today. This is it for the stream. And I hope to see you again in 1 or 2 weeks when I arrive back in the bubble and probably, get blown up for crashing into the main slot. That would be just my luck. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe leave a like or subscribe or a tweet to my Twitter, Primetime Casual, and well, see you next time.